Hi, friends, everybody or nobody that's here. Oh God, this lighting is insane. Sorry, I don't have jaundice. I appear that I have jaundice, but I've just set up the lights sort of badly. Anyway, hi everyone. I literally am doing this off the cuff, so if I don't see anybody here, that's okay. I have to talk about something that has been bugging me. I'm Nancy Rommelman. Thanks for joining us here at the Paloma Media YouTube channel. We should have much better tech now. I should not be glitching. When we've done things here before, people have been like, "You're glitching, you're glitching." Had Brian, the guy from Spectrum, came in last week and totally moved some stuff around, and our download speed is a lot faster, and our upload speed is a lot faster, which is what we needed to go live with you guys. So hopefully I am not glitching. As I said on Twitter just now, I'm supposed to be making some lists for palomamedia.com. As some of you know, we are launching a website in about, I don't know, soon. And I'm supposed to be making some lists, but this thing that's been bugging me, I just figured I want to talk about it a little bit. And if anybody wants to join me or has questions or opinions, I'd love to hear them. So someone I profiled last year when I was writing a lot for Reason about the protests in Portland, a gal named Erin Smith. Erin is she's a Trump supporter. She had been around. She had been in San Francisco the night that Trump won the election, and watched the incredible mayhem that happened that night, and the violence that was perpetrated by various left-wing groups. And she became quite active in going to these kinds of events and sort of mixing it up with people who are just observing or writing. And Erin was up in Portland last summer, and we have a mutual friend, and I sort of trailed her as she embedded with Black Bloc in Portland. And it turned out to be a pretty good piece. You can go over to the Reason website and type in my name, and you'll get a whole bunch of pieces. I don't remember what the title of it is. It's something like The Trans Activists That Embedded with Black Bloc. You'll find it. Some really incredible photos that she took that she let us use for the piece, including a cake that was in the tent before Black Bloc went marching out with that said "Cops are pee pee poo poo." I actually said to Erin, I said, "Did you actually take this photo? Because if you didn't, I cannot print this photo." But in fact, she had. In any case, she is the person that alerted me last week and sent me a link to a radio piece that the New Yorker, I guess they do about 3 radio pieces a week. And this one was called, or it was the subtitle, I guess, is Andreas Malm on How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Andreas Malm is a Swedish, I guess, activist and professor, and whose latest book is How to Blow Up a Pipeline. So David Remnick, editor-in-chief of the New Yorker, interviewed Andreas. Now, you might say, no matter where you are on the political spectrum, I don't know, blowing up things is probably not a great idea. But I am not going to say that the New Yorker or anybody shouldn't talk to this person. If they want to talk to this person and get ideas and listen to this person's logic, well, fine. That's why we live in the country we do, and that's great. So I listened to the piece, and as I don't know, you might imagine, I became extremely frustrated and extremely angry. And here are a few reasons why. Did I first of all, did I see a lot of parallels between what is going on with the violence in America post George Floyd, the stuff that's happening in the streets, the idea that you need to burn everything down in order to make things better? Yes, I did for sure. So Malm's point is that, we've tried other ways. They have had conference after conference after summit about getting rid of fossil fuels. The planet is on fire, and it's not getting any better, and it is not going to get any better if we keep just doing what we're doing. If countries just keep coming up with vague climate change solution agreements that nobody ever does anything about, and more pipelines are built, and more hazards are going to be coming in. And I personally think we can debate what's going on in terms of extreme weather conditions. I remember living through extreme weather conditions when I was young, hurricanes and stuff. Is it getting worse? Some people say yes, some people say no. Regardless, this is his position. And his position is exactly to the fucking word with what a lot of the protesters, in quotes, told me in Portland, which is like, we've tried everything else. Violence is the solution. So David Remnick says to Andreas Malm, says, well, would you participate in these? And he, Malm basically says, well, I wouldn't tell you if I were. Okay, great. Thanks for that courage, dude. But of course, his reasoning is like, you have to be stealthy about this stuff. Okay. Yeah, I understand that you might want to be stealthy if you're blowing something up. You don't want to let people know. And then he says, well, you know what, you have to use intelligent, this is a quote, intelligent sabotage. And so what you need to do is you need to plan these things intelligently. You have to, do it so that, there's going to be maximum damage to the pipeline, let's say, itself. I'm sure they would have other targets too, but the pipeline itself, but, not kill people. And I'm like, yeah, because, here's the thing about blowing things up. There's never any chance whatsoever that, I don't know, you might accidentally blow somebody up. I don't know. Kind of could happen, right? Well, of course it's going to fucking happen. And how is that going to be justified? Well, how's it going to be justified? You got to break some eggs to make an omelet, right? And maybe, maybe the dude that got blown up, maybe he worked for the oil company. So, he's one of the bad people, right? Or maybe he was a security guard, or maybe it's an owner. I found it pretty despicable, frankly, because it's still, oh my God, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind. It's still not building anything. Okay. 2 weeks ago, and I came on here and I talked about this when Marianne, I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting her last name. She was the independent journalist who was kind of yelled at and hit and knocked down by a black bloc guy in Portland. And, a lot of people called this out. It's like, look, you keep saying that all the violence is constantly coming from the right. On film, we've got a black bloc guy. This is a left-wing person who is knocking down a journalist. Matt Taibbi got involved, someone I respect, and he said, this isn't like super unusual. This happens. People want to ignore that you're also having violence coming from the left because it doesn't suit the predominant message that everything is coming from the right. Of course, I've been screaming this for so often, yes, of course there's violence from the right, but of course there's violence from the left. And if you open up your eyeballs, you will see it. But no. Anyway, I retweeted Taibbi stuff. I talked about a little stuff that I've talked about, and I actually have zero idea how many people came onto my page to tell me what an idiot I was. But, basically saying absolutely not. What I saw with my own eyes, the left, bashing down and molesting different things and setting things on fire. This was absolutely not true. It was always and only the police. I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess the police were setting their own Union Hall on fire, whatever. To get back to Malm, and the parallels with what I've seen last summer, and which is still going on to a certain extent, it is again more breaking of stuff, but no building of stuff. Remnick said to Malm, well, what about you have a history of, peaceful protest in this country in the 60s, people, nonviolent protest to get things done. And Malm said, well, yeah, it doesn't really work. And Remnick said, well, what can you cite that you think, has worked? And Malm cited what had happened in this country after George Floyd, the violence that we saw. Of course, not called violence, right? Have you caught that lately? None of what happens is violence. It's called vandalism if it's against property, and it's violence if it's against people. Someone said to me, but yes, of course, Nancy, words of violence. Yeah. Let's put that to the side. So he said, Malm felt that was a positive thing that happened in this country. The big groundswell of stuff that had happened, and that was going to cause change. Now, had I been the interviewer, I would have said to Malm, well, great. Let me know what's changed. Let me know, give me some concrete examples of what has changed for the better in this country. But Remnick didn't do that. You know what Remnick said? Well, the vast majority of protesting in this country has been, the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands has been peaceful. Yes, okay, we know this. But how does this further the conversation with this person who you're giving the opportunity to talk about his ideas? How does that drill down? Why don't you take a moment to actually say to him, okay, Andreas, mom, you are in favor of blowing up, millions of dollars worth of property and investment for energy that, a lot of people use, and when you blow this up and you no longer have this, what is going to happen? Well, probably self-evidently energy costs are going to go up for everyone, which will also make for more hardships. But no, he doesn't do that. Remnick does not do that. He does not for 1 second drill down to him and say, well, what's the solution? What are you going to build? I'm sorry, fuck you. It is extremely easy to break stuff. Okay. What are you going to build? Again, I have absolutely no problem with the New Yorker or anybody else. I would have, seriously, here's an invitation to mom. Come on the podcast here. I will happily talk to you, but I want to know, what are you going to build? Shouldn't you be using your energies and your platform and maybe your money and maybe the people that follow you to come up with things that are actually going to build stuff? Okay, I got a couple of questions here. Your speech is violence, my violence is speech. And Symphony's Lebanese Army and Weatherman, yes, yes. I mean, sorry if I did that a little bit quickly. The comments are very short. Yes, Days of Rage by Brian whose name is escaping me right now. Go read it. You will the parallels with this stuff. It's just Brian Burrow. It's always the same thing. You have this idea. It's going to be noble. You are going to work toward it. Then you have to work a little harder. You have to work in like kind of outside channels, and those channels, maybe we're going to do something that's going to be a little different. And then those little different things, and I kind of want to get people's attention, but I don't actually want to go and get maybe, I don't know, a degree in engineering and figure out a better way to make energy. Or maybe we're going to talk about hydropower or whatever kind of power. No, what we're going to do is we're going to build a bomb and we're going to blow up a pipeline that inevitably will kill someone that in your mind you will justify because your cause is so noble. And your cause is what? Your cause is what? Your cause is blowing shit up. I'm sorry. You say, Mr. Mom, that your cause is to have safer and cleaner fuel, then work toward that. That's what you work toward. I don't, if I want to be a writer, I don't go and burn up every fucking newspaper and magazine I find at the newsstand and say, because now I will have an opportunity to do my great writing. But in fact, I haven't written anything. All I've done is gotten rid of the other people's work. So I'm Brian Burrows. Yes, Brian Burrow. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I get a little hot under the collar about this, but I can't believe we are having the same conversations. This is not a left or right. I mean, yes, of course, you can make it a left or right issue, but I really don't know that. Like, I've seriously, now I'm going to get all emotional. I do not know how you in good faith can say, I think it's a great idea to blow shit up. How can this be a platform? And you, what's the next step? Get to the next step. Fucking think harder, okay? Think harder. Do a better job. Bring me a creation, okay? We are creating some media here for you. Very soon, it's going to launch, palomamedia.com. We created a Patreon. I know you want to give us money. That'll be great. We're going to sing songs for you in exchange. It's going to be great. But if I just told you, hey, guys, guess what? I'm going to destroy everybody else's stuff, and you should stick with me. Wouldn't you be like, huh? Why is that interesting? Why should I hang out with Nancy if that's her platform? It's just to bring people down and to destroy the things that other people make. I'm not saying like I'm super stoked about, like, I have no particular dog in the fight with pipelines. All right, someone's asking me here. I think there are different priors at play. No one who thinks the precautionary principle makes good policy cares about human suffering. I will admit to you that I'm too stupid to know what the precautionary principle is, but I'm kind of, if I'm going to have a platform, I'm going to stand against human suffering. I have if you follow me on Twitter, Nancy Rom, Nancy, I pinned a tweet up there. It's a 2-minute video of Matt Welch and me in the studio last week. Welch, I in the studio, me, I don't know. And I think I'm going to leave it there because it basically says, I'm going to leave it pinned there. Basically says what I think of how we should treat each other and how we shouldn't. Um, well, that's been 15 minutes of your day and of mine. Now I'm going to go back and make some lists of our favorite podcasters and our favorite Substackers, which we will have hopefully on palomamedia.com. That's coming at you really soon. Keep your eyes here. We're going to be doing some more video stuff. That's kind of what I'm saying. You can't assume the advocates of this stuff even care if everyone is worse off. Well, that's an interesting point, right? Because they don't actually have to see it. They don't actually have to see it. You go up and you blow up a pipeline and then you go back to your apartment, in Stockholm or wherever it is, however many hundreds of miles away. But you might see it. You might see it if you have no energy. You might see it if you can't gas up your car. Maybe at that point, maybe after enough things are burnt down, people will say, well, roll up the sleeves now. Got to get to building. I get that. I get hating a system so much that you want to get rid of it and build anew. It's probably a good idea to start building anew, either in tandem or instead, and then you'll forget about all the violent stuff you want to do because you're more engaged in interesting ideas that are actually building up as opposed to tearing down. Thanks, Nancy, for what it's worth. I want to see more great original reporting like what you did in Portland. Me too. So let me go. Let me go do some of that next door in my apartment. Anyway, guys, thanks so much. Sorry for the blasted out lighting here. Love you guys. Thanks for joining me. And keep following us here. And we'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.